So you're thinking about moving to Austin, hey? Let's break it down what it actually is like to live here. Culture, people, lifestyle, and what it really costs. Let's start off with culture. So weird meets wealthy. Let's talk about keep Austin weird. You've probably seen that everywhere. And keep Austin weird. I was born and raised here in Austin, and it wasn't until I was in high school that I really understood what that meant. I kind of saw the keep Austin weird, but really, it was pretty crazy. We used to be a guy named Leslie. You can look him up on the internet. Who used to ride half naked around Town Lake, around Austin. Who was like the mayor of Austin, or the underground mayor. And all the funky things that come with Austin. Everything from places like Kirby Lane, which are still iconic, but they just had cheese, queso everywhere that people love. Queso. They have different events like the Igor event every year. It's a real quirky city. It's mixed with music and that kind of thing. So, just to give you a contrast, Austin back in the day was about hippies and musicians. You probably heard of South Park Meadows or ACL. All these things started back way in the day, and really put Austin on the map as one of the world's music capital. World's live music city capital of the world. I think that's how they say it. But anyways, long story short, lots and lots of music. I've seen at South by Southwest just some of the artists that were virtually unheard of, and now they're kind of making Disney movies and that kind of thing. And anyways, really cool. So that's the old Austin. Really put it on the map with all the artists and things. And then the new Austin is that plus tech startups and that kind of thing. So you're seeing everything from Teslas. Dell Computers is here. Samsung building one of the largest projects in I think American history, right here in Texas. So events like South by Southwest, ACL, and how the city has shifted during these, what happens during these weeks, when you have these events. The city goes on lockdown. Huge events. There's not a lot of traffic. It's more like congestion within the downtown areas, but you definitely see a lot of people coming at the airport, staying at different hotels. A lot more activity downtown, particularly. But it brings good money to the economy, and it shows people a glimpse of Austin that you wouldn't see unless you were part of one of these festivals, which is always exciting. And then, so one of the things I always talk about is locals, and this is important because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I'm moving in from somewhere else. Are they gonna like me? I'm moving from California. Texans hate Californians. But here's the deal. I actually moved, I'm from here, and I moved to California for a bit, to San Diego, and lived there, came back, and totally different city. So what you have to remember is this: no one's going to hate on you. There's so many people that all these brand new neighborhoods are filled from people transplanting from all across the country and international. So everyone here is on the same page. They're welcoming and learning to love each other and deal with each other and work through all the nuances that can happen. So overall, I would say the culture here is what I just explained to you. It's a mix of old versus new, and then definitely new cultures are being introduced that now have made this a real melting pot. So the people I would say are chilled but focused. So who's moving here? People from California, of course, people from New York, people from the Midwest, people from international. You have a lot of tech families here. So that's a big one. When I say international, I'm talking about Ukraine, I'm talking about India, I'm talking about, you name it. It's all happening here. Korea, because of Samsung. How do people interact? I would say overall, they interact pretty good. Outside of some of the things, I'm not going to lie, as far as like driving, they always say the Californians are the worst drivers. But the reality is, I think, driving is one of those things that in each place you come from, it's a little bit different. So when it's all kind of coming together, you have all types of craziness. There's lots of big trucks here. Definitely, the further you go out in the country, you'll have people with big trucks, construction trucks. And it's kind of intimidating sometimes when you're on highways, because these trucks go really fast. I don't know how they go so fast or how much gas they're burning, but anyways, that's for a different time. That overall people do interact pretty well. The politics, that's a touchy subject I'm not going to get on. There's not really a lot of craziness happening, but the reality is you do have some pretty big time people here that have big platforms like Joe Rogan and Alex Jones. I mean, these are, I'm just giving you names of people with different platforms and political views, so you can see how it could be, pretty interesting at times. So, is it easy to make friends, and what's the vibe like? I would say it's just like anywhere else. I've moved around. Back in the day, I was in the military, and you kind of hang out with the people that you know first. So if you have a friend, maybe hang out with them first, of course. But you want to branch out. You want to be part of different things. Like myself, I'm part of a jiu-jitsu club, and so I do jiu-jitsu once or twice a week. I meet people there, and sometimes they invite us to do different events. And got to meet people there. If you have children and they're in sports, you'll definitely, being part of team sports, you'll meet people, and that's another good way to do it. But just like anywhere, if you're indoors, not going out or not really connecting with anybody, it's really challenging. But overall, people are social, and you're going to meet a lot of interesting people. So lifestyle, outdoors, fitness, and food. So where you see locals on weekends, parks, trails, in Barton Springs. Let's talk about parks. Zilker Park, you'll see people on there. It's the downtown park for Austin. But there's definitely lots of parks in all of Central Texas. It's, you got the Balcones Fault Line that runs through Central Texas and Austin. And if you look at I-35, it divides it for you. You'll see one side is the hill country, and then the other side is kind of flat. And so, anyways, I tell you all to tell you that there's different parks all throughout the city. There's state parks, and there's also the city parks, which are terrific. Barton Springs being one of those. So paddleboarding, green belts, and outdoor fitness. Man, I can tell you, you can find all that. You don't have to look too hard. There's fitness everywhere. There's green belts here in Austin. Paddleboarding, you see people do that throughout all parts of the lakes. You can look up the best places, but essentially there's lots of that going on. Food culture is my favorite, so that's where I come in. I'm a big foodie. I'm a former CPG veteran, and when I say that stands for Consumer Products Goods, Packaged Goods, sorry. And essentially, I was able to try different packaged foods throughout my lifetime, and I can tell you that Austin is a mecca for the best foods. They actually have a lot of restaurants that got Michelin stars this last year. But everything from breakfast tacos, those are terrific anywhere. Vegan barbecue, if you're into that. And then fancy brunches, you'll find all that here. So definitely people are wellness focused. You're going to find yoga studios everywhere, gyms everywhere, kombucha, cold plunges. Just fun fact for you. Whole Foods was actually founded here in Austin, Texas. Is currently owned by Amazon, but just to let you know, there are lots of foodies and a lot of cool stuff comes out of here because Whole Foods was started here. So there's a lot of innovation happening in the food space, everything from food trucks to your Michelin star top restaurants. By the way, I think there is a Michelin star food truck that is here in Austin. I haven't visited it yet, but I saw it come online. So cost of living is not what it used to be. So for example, housing, $600,000 or $600,000 is the average. And, that's just overall the price is up because people have moved here. There's a demand, there's a supply demand. It's very simple. There are pockets as we speak where you can still get deals. And obviously a deal depends on your budget, your budgetary constraints. But overall, you can still get a deal, especially right now. Interest rates have been a little bit high, and so people have been a little bit on the fence about being, just purchasing overall. So there's deals to be had. But again, the market's changing week by week. And depending on where you go, obviously closer into the downtown you are, the more expensive. The further you're out, less expensive, but not all places are worth the money. So rent. Rent, you can find a place. What does $1,800 to $2,500 get you, for example? Well, you can get a 3-bed, 2-bath house, somewhere in the city. You know, it may not be directly downtown, maybe in like Cedar Park or Leander, but they're still around. Now, that being said, it's gotten a little bit crazy because, see, the city's being built and all these people have to stay somewhere. So a lot of construction is happening, a lot of people coming in, and sometimes they're renting out some of these places for, say, a year because they're here for a year. But that on top of the people moving in for work, you know, there's been, I would say, a good fluctuation of, you know, being a lot of inventory to where the next week there's, you know, almost zero inventory for rent. But overall, yeah, $1,800 to $2,500 can get you a 3-bed, 2-bath house, depending on where you're looking. Property tax. Oh, so property tax is a big one. Most people talk about Texas, they always talk about the low income tax because it's zero, but they fail to mention property tax. Excuse me. They fail to mention property tax. Property tax can be between 2 and 3%, depending on where you're at. So think about that. Do the math. 2 to 3% on $500,000, 2 to 3% on $1 million, if that's your budget, or even $300,000. Do the math. What 2 to 3% is, and that would be your annual tax bill. Now, there's ways to fight it. You know, are you a veteran? Are you a disabled veteran? Well, guess what? You may be eligible for 100% tax reduction, so you maybe pay zero taxes, or maybe you have some kind of agricultural land where you have, you know, it's farmland, it's deemed agriculture. You can get some help there as well. But it's always important. And there's also little pockets, not neighborhoods, little cities, you know, little cities that you may not even think of. And sometimes I don't even think of because they're not even on the map until builders start building on there. But you can get property taxes really low, you know, 1.2% and that kind of thing, just depending on where you're at. So check in wherever you're buying. You know, if you're working with me, I'm a realtor, of course, or with somebody else. That's very important because it will eat up a lot of your cash. So daily costs, groceries, gas, and eating out. What's changed since COVID? Well, I would say that it's, you know, pretty expensive. I mean, but it's just the same prices as anywhere in the U.S. Maybe New York's more expensive, or maybe some of the California cities are more expensive, or Hawaii. But groceries, you know, they're not, I would say they're just in line with the rest of the country. Gas, cheaper than California, for sure. Eating out, well, eating out is expensive, no matter how you slice it, you know, at least to me. But all depends on your budget. So eating out is not too crazy, but it's, you know, still it's expensive if you do it over and over again. Okay, so my take, I would say if you're dreaming of Austin, make sure it fits your day-to-day life, definitely. So thinking of that would be, if you work downtown, you know, you may want to spend a little bit more to live closer to downtown, even though it costs more. Just because the commute may suck your, you know, it may drain you, take your soul out, because sitting in traffic is not fun. And they're doing stuff, you know, to alleviate that by building wider roads, putting more toll roads, which that's a big red flag. That can get real expensive, but they have it and it's there for a reason. Commute, school vibes, it all changes by the neighborhood. That's true. So I would start off if you're, you know, by school districts, just to kind of get your feel. What are the different school districts? You can easily do that. A Google search, you'll find out which ones they are. Leander Independent School District is a good one. Round Rock Independent School District is a good one. If you want to be in Westlake, you can look that up. That school district is pretty good. Overall, all the school districts I would say are pretty good, except you always want to, they're kind of fragmented. So even like Leander Independent School Districts, you know, overall the school district is great, but you may be in a pocket where that elementary may be okay, or maybe it's changing, because remember, there's a lot of people now that have moved in, so things are changing. And I would say overall in the up and up, because most people, they want their kids to go to a good school, so they'll, you know, invest well. But it all depends. Are you looking to be on the east side as a creative? Are you looking to be on the south side? Or north, east, west? It all depends on what you're looking for. So here's the deal. I live here, and I moved back in 2020 from California. And overall, I would, I've helped out a lot of people that are relocating, or if you're here in Austin, sell their homes, buy investments. I do it all. But the biggest thing I could say is this. You can see all the flash, but the reality is you want to make a sound decision where your everyday life is good. Meaning you got the right commute, you're next to your favorite coffee shop if that's what you're looking for, you're next to good schools if that's for your family, if that's what you're looking for. You're next to a vibrant community of like-minded people. Maybe you're an artist, you want to live in East Austin. All these things matter. So I've helped a lot of people just like you. All you got to do is give me a call, text me. My phone number is 512-663-8867. That's 512-663-8867. So give me a shout, and I'll help you find a home or sell your home, whatever is easier for you. Take care.